Bună ziua, stimați colegi! Mult stimate domnule secretar general Roberto Antonioni, stimate domnule Păpușoi, vicepreședinte a Parlamentului Republicii Moldova, stimați colegi, vă salut în Republica Moldova. În același timp, țin să-i salut pe colegii noștri care sunt online. Din cauza condițiilor meteo, o parte din colegii noștri n-au avut posibilitatea să ajungă la această reuniune. Mulțumesc tuturor pentru participare. Republica Moldova este onorată să găzduiască Adunarea Parlamentară Este onorat să găzduiască Adunarea Parlamentară a Inițiativei Centrale Europene la finalul deținerii președinției în exercițiu în anul 2023. Sperăm că reuniunea de astăzi va fi un nou prilej pentru dezbateri sincere, de actualitate, pe subiecte care ne preocupă pe toți, membrii ai Parlamentelor Inițiativei Centrale Europene. La începutul ședinței noastre de deschidere am onoarea să-i ofer cuvântul domnului Mihail Păpușoi, vicepreședinte al Parlamentului Republicii Moldova. Vă rog, domnule vicepreședinte.
Thank you, dear Igor. Dear colleagues, dear friends, despite the cold weather outside, I would like to extend you a very warm welcome to the Republic of Moldova. The fact that you've made it is quite remarkable, given the challenges that we have all faced yesterday and partially still today. This is a testament to your determination and your support, not just to the Central European Initiative and its common goals and aspirations, but also to the Republic of Moldova. So thank you. Now, in these difficult times, and when I say difficult this time, I no longer mean the weather, I mean the regional geopolitical circumstances that we find ourselves in, the unity that European member states have shown has been remarkable. And the Republic of Moldova has done its utmost with its modest resources to be a responsible actor in the international community and contribute to our good friends and partners in Ukraine to help alleviate their suffering, because the efforts that the Ukrainian people are making are dedicated also to defending the Republic of Moldova and defending the eastern flank of the European Union. And the goals we have in the Central European Initiative are geared towards peaceful cooperation, towards the synergetic effect of all of the capacities that we bring to the table. And the motto of the Moldovan chairmanship has been consequence, connectivity, and creativity. And we have done our best to try to promote and cooperate when it comes to the process of European integration of all the members who are candidate countries and who are aspiring to join the European Union. And not the least, the Republic of Moldova, who is making significant efforts to return to the European family of nations from where we have been ripped apart for no fault of our own. I'm sure you're well aware of the enormous reform efforts despite the challenges that we are facing with paid protesters, with attempts to hijack democratic elections via an influx of financial resources from abroad. But Moldovan institutions are reacting and are trying to be proactive in combating these challenges, including in the area of propaganda, which is a major threat to all of our countries. Propaganda that is, I must admit, regretfully, more often than not very effective in dividing our societies, in polarizing different groups one against the other, in exploiting the vulnerabilities that we have in our societies. So there needs to be a joint response, a strong cooperative effort in sharing best practices, in sharing knowledge and experience in combating this scourge. While at the same time, we need to increase more economic cooperation and also people-to-people contact. The Republic of Moldova has been incredibly open and remains open, and I hope during this visit, like in other visits, you'll be able to experience the famous hospitality of the Republic of Moldova. We are known lately as a small country with a big heart, and we will try to live up to this aspiration. As I mentioned, the Republic of Moldova is going through challenging times, but with the help of our international partners and with the robust support of our citizens, we will overcome any challenges that stay in our way. We have a strong, committed, pro-European government that has a strong support from its citizens, engaged in a robust reform agenda, in building more resilient, more independent, more professional judiciary, integrity-driven, committed towards combating corruption across the board, but first and foremost in the rule of law sector, and at the same time undertaking important efforts in increasing the competitiveness of our economy. Despite the many challenges that we face, the only way forward is for us to build stronger institutions, invest in infrastructure, open the country up to investors and also to our own citizens who are eager to invest. We need to provide all the help that we can to make sure that we kickstart the economy and move forward. So I welcome you in the Republic of Moldova. I wish you a productive session, and I can only reassure you on behalf of the Action and Solidarity Party, on behalf of Parliament and the Moldovan people, that the Republic of Moldova remains committed towards not just European integration, but remains committed towards being a responsible actor in the region and helping our good friends in Ukraine, and we count on all of your support to maintain that assistance in a robust fashion, because I'm sure, as you are all keenly aware, only a decisive Ukrainian victory is a guarantee of a sustainable peace in the region. Any other scenario is unfortunately just postponing the suffering and the instability in the region. So thank you for all of your support, and welcome yet again in the Republic of Moldova.
Vă mulțumim, domnule vicepreședinte al Parlamentului, domnul Mihai Popușoi, pentru intervenția dumneavoastră, pentru discursul dumneavoastră. În continuare, vreau să-i ofer cuvântul domnului Roberto Antonioni, secretar general al Inițiativei Centrale Europene. Domnule Antonioni, vă ofer cuvântul dumneavoastră.
Thank you, dear President, Excellencies, distinguished colleagues. I'm particularly pleased to take the floor on this special occasion on behalf of the CI Secretariat and welcome all of you. I warmly thank all the Moldovan authority for hosting this meeting and for giving us the opportunity to attend online. We try to reach Chisinau, but unfortunately, due to the bad weather condition, we are not able to achieve this goal. And so I would like to apologize for this. Let me express my appreciation for the great cooperation of Moldovan authority and their support throughout the year during the CI presidency. I really praise Moldova for its efforts and achievements undertaken despite the difficult circumstances caused by the war in neighboring Ukraine and the major social and economic challenges. Furthermore, I take this opportunity to welcome the incoming Albanian presidency for 2024 and wish the country every success. Today we are meeting after the recent CI Trieste platform, which gathered the chairs of the national delegations to the CI parliamentary dimension and the chairs of the foreign affairs committees. The goals of the reform path we are launching today are centrally ambitious. Yet, faced with the difficult circumstances we are all expressing, we cannot be satisfied with the business as usual approach. We must raise the level of our ambitions to keep pace with the historical changes we are going through. Your presence here reconfirms the commitment of your countries and particularly of your parliaments to the CI and the common endeavor we have undertaken to strengthen the role of our organization as a valuable political platform contributing to the stabilization of the region, its economic development and social progress. Together, we have initiated an overall debate on the need for a reinforced multilateralism which could be beneficial to better represent the shared interest of the CI member countries in view of a strong, sustainable and inclusive Europe. While supporting the EU integration process in line with our mission, we must join efforts to ensure that the needs and concerns of the CI countries could be better represented at European and international levels. This is a key message I wish to deliver to you, as well as a key objective of the path we are initiating today. Strengthening the CI, the largest intergovernmental forum for regional cooperation in Europe, means making the voice of Central and Eastern Europe countries more identified and, if I can so, louder at the EU and at global level. A stronger CI would make it easier to formulate joint positions and then pursue common political objectives aligned to our country's shared interests. In this endeavor, regional cooperation plays a vital and proactive role. This is more and more needed in a world facing multiple and overlapping crises and becoming increasingly uncertain. Our thoughts go particularly to Russia's aggression against Ukraine, causing a huge humanitarian, social and economic crisis for the Ukrainian people. Let me express a special welcome to the Ukrainian parliamentary delegation and reiterate the CI's unwavering support to the territorial integrity and sovereignty of Ukraine. Let me also express our commitment to continue to provide political support and concrete assistance to the country as we have done since the beginning of the war. Dear colleagues, the reform path which was launching with the Trieste CI platform ascribes a major role to the CI parliamentary dimension, one of the pillars of our organization together with the governmental and economic dimensions. This shows how essential cooperation among these dimensions is to achieve the CI strategic goals and provide guidance to strengthen the impact of the CI on all the most important issues and challenges we must manage. The joint statement adopted by the meeting of the Ministers of Foreign Affairs of the CI member states held last week in Chisinau took into consideration the proposal adopted at the Trieste CI platform to establish a convention for strengthening of the Central European Initiative as a contribution for reflecting on possible ways for the CI to address current and future challenges. Now we are called upon to actively get engaged in this process and work together for a stronger CI, provided with new political impetus and contributing to the reinforcement of multilateralism in Europe through impactful regional cooperation. The CI has a proven capacity to act in response to the crisis. The same capacity should drive out our future efforts, which will require efficient, coordinated actions. In this context, I would like to thank the Italian Parliament for promoting the Trieste CI platform and all parliaments of the CI countries for their participation. From our side, I can assure you that the CI Secretariat is available to provide the necessary assistance, support, and coordination. Thank you for your attention.
Thank you very much, Mr. Roberto Antonioni, for your intervention. Dear colleagues, for the year 2023, the Republic of Moldova took over the presidency in exercise within the Central European Initiative. In the context of this, the Republic of Moldova has special attention to the promotion of the European integration process of the member states of the initiative, which are not part of the European Union. Also, the efforts of the Central European Initiative, and this year, during the presidency in exercise of the Republic of Moldova, was focused to strengthen peace and security, prosperity, democracy and the rule of law, respect for human rights, sustainable economic development and increasing resilience in the region. Central European Initiative is a support platform for European Union enlargement. The European integration process is the only viable solution for preserving peace, security, and economic prosperity in the region. As a candidate state for the European Union, we pleaded for the strengthening of the relationship between the Central European Initiative and the European Union, and for facilitating the exchange of experience between the European Union member states and the candidate ones. The key position of the presidency of the Republic of Moldova within the Central European Initiative is that the European integration must remain the main political priority of the candidate states within the Central European Initiative. In this context, we strongly supported a political dialogue within the Central European Initiative in process of enlargement of the European Union. The enlargement of the European Union is a major political possibility both for the candidate countries and for the European Union. In this context, we welcome the decision of the European Commission to recommend it to the European Council the start of accession negotiation for the Republic of Moldova, Ukraine, Bosnia and Herzegovina, with the hope that the Council of Europe will approve the decision that will give the green light for the start of negotiation. I stand before you today to emphasize the importance of supporting Euro integration and durable development in the Central European region. I believe that even this year, the Central European Initiative capitalized on its role and its potential as a promoter of the idea of European Union integration, being also a support and coordination platform in this joint effort to bring our countries into the European Union. The Central European Initiative also supported those states that have not yet joined the European Union. Within our platform, we also discussed the regional context every time, including the negative effects of the unjustified war of aggression of the Russian Federation in Ukraine. The Republic of Moldova will support the projects which will be oriented to restore the situation in Ukraine. The Republic of Moldova expresses the gratitude to all the Central European Initiative member states for their effort to present projects during the presidency of the Republic of Moldova, which have the purpose to support Ukraine. Together, within the Central European Initiative, we are going to identify solutions to overcome the negative effects of this illegal and unjust, brutal war of the Russian Federation in Ukraine, but also to quickly integrate our country into the European Union. We reiterate our support for the independence, sovereignty, and territorial integrity of Ukraine within the internationally recognized borders. The war in Ukraine has also emphasized the need to urgently provide better cross-border transport connectivity, as the Central European Initiative region is an integral part of the core of the Trans-European Transport Network. A strong infrastructure is vital to safety and security of Europe. Dear colleagues, the parliamentary dimension of the Central European Initiative is an important platform for dialogue and fostering of mutual confidence between the member states. It is our duty to get involved in more ambitious and mutual beneficial projects and to create new bridges leading us to a sustainable economic development, since we have one common goal: strengthening our democratic processes and reforms aimed at economy's modernization to the benefit of our citizens. I would like to mention that the parliamentary dimension was an active one. Our action that we had this year on the parliamentary dimension of the Central European Initiative were possible thanks to the efforts made by the Central European Initiative Secretariat, as well as the national secretariats, And in this way, I want to thank you all. Let me mention that as a candidate to the European Union membership, Moldova is steadily progressing in implementation reforms in various areas, including good governance, the rule of law, and economic development. As we have embarked on the European Union accession path, each day Moldova is making steps to become closer and more integrated into the European Union. Thank you very much for your attention. And now I would like to give the floor to Ms. Erika Hasnos, Deputy Head of the European Union Delegation to the Republic of Moldova. Please.
Thank you, and good morning to all. Dear President, dear deputies, members, colleagues, let me start by congratulating our host, the Republic of Moldova, but also Ukraine and Bosnia-Herzegovina on the recent European Commission recommendation to the Council to open accession negotiations. All three countries have put a lot of effort to advance on the path of European integration and to implement the steps outlined in the previous reports and recommendations of the European Commission. These efforts have been done during very difficult times, and obviously we are not only talking about the snow, especially for Ukraine, which is facing Russian aggression. Moldova has also shown resilience in addressing significant challenges since the start of Russia's war of aggression against Ukraine. Moldova's government and parliament have demonstrated their commitment to progress on the EU agenda while taking measures to mitigate the impact of war, including hosting a very large number of Ukrainian refugees. In about 3 weeks, the European heads of state and government will discuss the Commission's reports and will decide on the future steps. My focus today is Moldova, our hosting nation, that achieved candidate status just over a year and a half ago. The Republic of Moldova was granted candidate status because it's a European country that shares our common values: human dignity, freedom, democracy, equality, rule of law, and human rights. But also because the Moldovan people and the Moldovan government are committed on the path of European integration, and they work diligently, day after day, to achieve progress. The commitment of Moldova's government and parliament to advancing the EU agenda is evident. Moldova has progressed steadily on the EU Commission's opinion recommendations since June 2022. Moldova has launched a comprehensive justice reform, including the evaluation of integrity of prominent judges and prosecutors. The country is reforming its anti-corruption architecture. It has increased the number of investigations and convictions in corruption cases. Moldova adopted a de-oligarchization action plan with clear steps and timelines. Moldova adopted new legislation for confiscation mechanism to better fight organized crime, and there is also clear commitment to work with EU partners to find money laundering. The country adopted a new public administration strategy and follows the reform at all levels. Moldova clearly shows willingness to further improve public administration capacity in order to be able to gradually align with the EU acquis. It is important to stress, however, that even when the steps are deemed completed, the country cannot rest. Implementation needs to steadily continue, and the country needs to avoid any backsliding on the achieved progress. And here the cooperation in different formats will be very useful, including working together as members of the Central European Initiative, a platform which is built on the convergence of fundamental values. As we can see today in the room, the initiative includes EU member states and candidate states alike. This opens the door for the transfer of expertise and know-how in multiple areas. As we are at the Parliamentary Assembly of the Central European Initiative, I would also like to emphasize the importance of the Parliament's work for the country's integration into the European Union. When the time will come, Negotiations with the European Union will be the responsibility of the executive. However, the position represented by the government should be based on support gained from the Parliament. Parliaments should closely monitor governmental activities during the whole process. It is important that governmental activities are based on the widest possible political consensus and the broadest possible representation of the interests and opinions of all the citizens. This is also where the Parliament serves as a primary platform to organize discussions between majority and opposition, between authorities and civil society. Let me assure you that the European Union stands ready to provide all the necessary support in this process and to all the member states of the initiative to come closer to the European Union. Thank you for your attention, and I wish you very fruitful discussions.
Thank you very much, Ms. Erika Hasnos, for your intervention. We greatly appreciate the constant help and support of the European Union. Thank you very much. And now I would like to remove the floor to Mr. Vladimir Kuk, State Secretary, Ministry of Foreign Affairs and European Integration. Mr. Kuk, it's your floor.
Thank you very much, distinguished participants, both those who really managed to come to Chisinau and those who are able to join us online. Thank you very much for participating in this meeting on behalf of the Foreign Ministry. I'm also glad to warmly welcome and also to see some familiar faces which we met some time ago when you were at the meeting for the energy, and I vividly remember very good discussions, those of very important issues of how to make our region, our countries more resilient and more prepared to deal with all the consequences we are. Then we made very good exchange also how the Central European Initiative can help us in this area. I believe there is a common understanding around this table that CEI as a regional initiative and generally regional cooperation is an important contributor to the European integration in general as a main goal of our organization. Definitely there are ways we can improve, but I will refer to it a bit later. You know, the Moldovan presidency of the Central European Initiative come at a very important time, not only for Moldova itself, but for the entire region, and for a number of reasons. First, indeed, as previous speakers have been referring to as well already, we're going through a real revival of the EU enlargement process. This is, of course, a major geopolitical opportunity for, I would say, for both sides, for both countries who are striving to join the European Union, but also for the European Union itself. We, as candidate countries on the path to join the EU, we need to show and to demonstrate to European Union countries that we are bringing something new and something really valuable to the European Union. The rule of law, the democracy, the stable institutions. So this is a lot of work for us, but this is I think, our shared goal that we need to focus on. And for the EU is also indeed a chance to show that the process of stabilizing of this part of Europe is not finalized yet, and you can do still another step to get the aspiring countries inside and to spread the area of peace, prosperity and democracy further. And of course the enlargement remains the instrument. Of course, on behalf of the Foreign Ministry, we were very happy and we welcome the European Commission recommendation to the European Council to move forward with the accession negotiations for Bosnia and Herzegovina, for Moldova, for Ukraine. Also to open the fundamentals clusters for North Macedonia and Albania by the end of the year. And we also, of course, we are gladly and wishing a lot of success to colleagues in Serbia and Montenegro to progress ahead with their negotiations. we hope that the European Council in December will provide positive decisions and will send encouraging messages to the entire region. And I say entire region, this is important, that we, in the Republic of Moldova, we see no place for competition. We only see place for cooperation, learning from each other, from region, countries to countries, from region to region, how we can all together move ahead. Of course, everyone has its own merits, has its own issues, which needs to deal with, but and the process will remain merit-based, we understand it, but we definitely can learn a lot from each other, and we definitely are doing it already. The second reason why it's timely is because there is, and connected to the first, to the European accession, is the EU reform. There were no so much, I didn't hear yet the references to it, but I'm sure it will be discussed in the following discussion. That's a big discussion because the EU enlargement file is moving also the discussion of internal reform of the EU, because the EU has to be prepared to receive new members from the point of view of budget planning, decision making, institutional, let's say, aspects. I think this discussion needs to go ahead. But I think our message, which comes from Chisinau, and that it is important that the EU reform file moves ahead independently, I mean in parallel with the EU enlargement, so not to block each other between these two processes. This is very important for us, for the countries aspiring to, not to be blocked on the issues which don't depend on us and which we may not be still able to influence. We should do our homework, but we also hope that EU will be moving ahead in a positive direction on EU reform. And of course, third is Russia's continuing war of aggression against Ukraine. Our call to all the CEI countries to stay united and to help Ukraine in countering the invasion and restore its territorial integrity, sovereignty, and within its internationally recognized borders over the whole territory of Ukraine. This remains a very challenging task, but I think political and geopolitical stakes are extremely high, and we need to be united around this goal. Let me say that all these issues, indeed, as Secretary General Antonioni mentioned, have been discussed at the recent ministerial last week, CEI ministerial meeting. I think we had a very good debate, and it showed that there is big expectations on our countries. I think we took a number of important decisions on budget for the CEI for next year, of the cooperation fund, CEI cooperation fund, on the CEI presidency 24, which will be taken over by Albania. Of course, we adopted a joint political statement, which reflects the vision of all the participating members of the CEI. And this final statement refers to a number of issues. If you have looked at the webpage of the CEI Secretariat, you may have seen a photo which reflects the atmosphere in which the discussions were taking place at the very last moment of on the very last paragraph. But I'm very glad that we reached a consensus, even though maybe the text of the statements on some issues haven't been satisfying to everyone, but I think the important thing that we reached a consensus, everybody's success, so we kind of we gave a good example how we can actually find the common language and common understanding. And of course, the key message that we are expecting positive decisions from December Council also comes from this ministerial statement. Also, another thing which we have mentioned in the statement is indeed take into consideration establishing the convention for the strengthening of the CEI, the idea which is coming from the chairman of Foreign Committee from the Italian Senate, Madame Stefania Craxi, and we hope this will be a discussion on that during the next year. To conclude here, I'm wishing good luck to this discussion, to have a very productive discussion, and let online participation not reduce the activity of the debates, because time is really crucial for the region. I'm also wishing all the best and to the Albanian colleagues who will be taking over also the executive and parliamentary dimension of the CEI, to carry the torch further and to bring only the positive news in the next year. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Mr. Cook, for your intervention. And now I would like to give the floor to our colleagues, Radu Marian, Chairman of the Parliamentary Committee on Economy, Budget and Finance. Mr. Radu Marian, please, it's your floor.
Mulțumesc, Igor. Thank you so much, dear colleagues and friends, distinguished guests. I'm very happy that you made it here despite the very, very difficult weather. I will try to address mostly the economic issue and the challenges and the goals that we have as a country and what we can do together as a region. Obviously, Moldova as a country that is on the borderline of a war zone has faced unprecedented challenges caused by Russia's unjust military aggression against Ukraine. I'm very happy that our Ukrainian friends are here, and I just want to let them know that peace in Moldova is largely thanks to your sacrifices and your efforts, and we will be forever grateful for what you do and how do you protect the peace and security in our region and in Europe. We have faced, because of the war, unprecedented refugee inflow, an energy crisis, a massive disruption of logistics for our trade, and inflation which peaked 34% in 2000 and at the end of 2022, but it's largely thankfully it's down now to 6%. We've had a recession last year of 6% as well, and obviously we had the hybrid threats from Russia, from disinformation to more recently election meddling in the local elections which ended last week. What we did in the short term to address these challenges shortly, we obviously provided refugee support to the Ukrainian refugees from our local budget, but obviously thanks to the support from international partners. We have made decisive steps in our energy independence for the first time since our independence as a country. Since last year, we are not using Russian gas anymore to heat up our homes. And so we have managed to secure gas flows from other regions, so we can now purchase gas from all around the world. And so Russia cannot use gas as a weapon against us anymore. Also, we have connected our electricity grid with the European one, and during the bombardments of Russia last year of Ukraine infrastructure, we have managed to, for the first time, to purchase electricity from the European market. We have doubled the minimum pension, more than doubled the minimum pension to address the cost of living crisis. We have doubled the minimum wage. Also, we have designed a unprecedented compensation scheme for the energy bills of the people, and the government has covered more than 60% of the bills for most of the households, and that was thanks to obviously the support we received from our partners, from the EU, from the US, and we are incredibly thankful for your support, because this compensation scheme has enabled us to maintain a social stability in the country. So last year we have compensated more than 900,000 households in our country. We increased public investment. Obviously, in recession, we need to increase public investment to maintain, the economy and consumption. We have increased 3 to 4 times the budget for public infrastructure projects in our local authorities, in roads. We have undertaken fiscal measures. We have applied a 3-year extension to the income tax for the small and medium enterprises, and also we had a 5-fold increase in funds that we allocate to business support. Also, we partially compensate for the interest rate hike for the businesses, and also we are providing loan guarantees. Obviously, that's good, but that's only good to maintain a stability in the country. As a future European Union member, we are seeking a long-term and sustainable growth. Our target is to achieve a year-on-year 7% growth, and for that, obviously, we need. It's not only depends on us because we are a small country, but nevertheless, we do whatever we can to reach that goal. And the number one way to reach this sustainable economic growth is through EU accession, of course. The goal of our generation of politicians and the goal of today's people of Moldova is to become members of the EU, right? And EU membership, obviously, for us, will enable us to support the economic growth, to have in public investment. But besides that, our membership as the European Union is not only about prosperity and economic growth, but is our most direct way towards the actual survival of Republic of Moldova. Democracy in this country depends on us being members of the EU, and what's happening in Ukraine is a direct proof of how important it is for us and for this region is to be part of the free world. And I call again for you to support this path of Moldova. Obviously, we need to work more on productivity. But for that, we need to attract investment, particularly foreign investment, in many areas, with a focus on technology. We need to work on labor reforms, because we need to fix the shortage of labor that we have in order to be able to attract investors. We are now in a massive process of reducing bureaucracy and digitalization. This year, we have reached 50% of all the public services that can be provided digitally. That will be good for people, but as well as businesses. And I mentioned FDI attraction. I just want to single out a couple arguments for you why Moldova is an attractive region for country for investment. We have an open market economy. Moldova is a signatory of 44 free trade agreements, such as obviously the free trade agreement with the EU, but also with UK and Turkey, and CEFTA and EFTA. We are very strong in agri-food. Moldova ranks amongst the highest producing and exporting countries in food products. Recently, we have reached, we have become the third largest exporter of plums in Europe, and that's I think that's an accomplishment considering the small sizes of our country. Also, we're very strong in wine and oilseed. We have an attractive digital economy. We have the Europe's only e-park, virtual park in Europe that provides a single tax of 7%. It's very attractive, and we have a huge boom in IT sector because of this e-park. Public tendering opportunities, obviously, once we become in the process of EU accession, Moldova will plan and is planning important investments in infrastructure, in renewables, and water, and bridges, and road, and rail. This year, we will launch the first ever large capacity auction for renewable energy. And obviously, we're calling on big energy companies from your countries, including to participate in this tender. 98% fiber coverage in Moldova, one of the strongest in Europe, and we have one of the biggest, the fastest internet in the continent. We have a very strong banking system with very, very strong foreign reserves. And obviously Moldova is located in a strategic position. We are a crossroads of commercial routes where east meets west, fast shipping and time zone compatibility. I'm telling you that because I would want and I would kindly request you to go home and, when you go home, to talk to your investors and tell them that Moldova is open for business. I think the best way we can cooperate is through trade. Obviously, we are now receiving a large amount of aid, and that's obviously great, and we're incredibly grateful. But we all realize that on the long term, the path to development and to growth for everybody is trade. And also I would really invite you to tell your business to be open to Moldovan experts and to our high quality experts. And that will be my message to me, and I will just thank you very much again for your support. As I said, we are a small country. We can do whatever we can to move forward, but it's just a matter of truth. If there's no cooperation, if there's no friendship among our region, there will be no way us or other, our region itself would advance and progress. Thank you so much, and I wish you further a very productive discussion. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Mr. Radu Marian, for your intervention and for this good information which you explained. Now I propose to pass to our working session. I want to reiterate our today's topic is supporting European integration and promoting sustainable development of the Central European Initiative region. And I ask the delegation to take part in the debate. Starting now, I want to make an important announcement. Starting within January 1st, 2024, Albania take over the presidency and exercise of the Central European Initiative, and our colleagues, Mr. Etienne Jafai, will be the head colleagues, Mr. Etienne Jafai will be the head